Welcome back to a different type of episode of the Say It How It Is podcast, where this season we are doing check-ins with guests that have previously been on the last 2 seasons beforehand. This first check-in is with Ellie Boatman.
Hello.
Who is also hosting some episodes throughout this season, so you'll definitely hear her voice more.
Woo!
Thank you for joining me on this daily check-in? Weekly? Whatever it is. How are you feeling today? How does this make you feel? So this is literally just going to be a quick check-in on life, where you're at, where or how life has changed since we last spoke to you, nearly 2 years ago now, which is crazy.
Wow.
I know. Hi Ellie.
Hello, Ffion.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Had a nice few days with you.
Yeah, I spoiled a rotten, I have. You're now an Olympian since we last spoke.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Tattoo.
Zoom. That's pretty cool. Life for you has been pretty chaotic, hasn't it, the last few months? So when you said, I'm fine, I'm like, she's lying.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to stop doing that.
Yeah. Let's just dive straight into it.
Why not?
Tough few months.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Wow. I feel like if I look at my life this time last year to right now, a lot has changed, a lot has happened.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone from the highs of the highs last year to then in quick turnaround. It's been quite low of the low, really, isn't it?
Yeah, literally from going from being an Olympian and feeling incredible to, probably be having my hardest 6 months, to be honest, of my life at the moment.
Yeah. Well, obviously, initially... Actually, let's talk about the good stuff. Obviously, you were Olympian last year, which is pretty cool from how you worked very, very, very hard to get to this stage of becoming an Olympian. Like, you did all of the hard graft. It wasn't like you were gifted this opportunity. No. It was, you really had to work for it to get to be able to say you're an Olympian. Yeah. And then I feel like you started next season having like the best season of your life, and then unfortunately you got injured.
Yeah, so in February I was in Vancouver playing on the World Series. It was hard season because naturally after an Olympic cycle, lots of people leave, there was lots of change. Funding's always been difficult with sevens. But like I was playing my best rugby. I was at one point like second top try scorer on the series in the world, and like I just felt good. I feel like I'm just a little bit older now and like a bit more sure of myself, and like I do get nervous still, but like I'm just a little bit more confident on the pitch, and I've been working hard on my fitness and everything. And yeah, it was just all coming together really. I felt really good, and then just had a bit of a freak accident in Vancouver at the back of a ruck and ended up rupturing all 3 hamstrings off my pelvic bone. So I had to have pretty major surgery like 15 weeks ago, tomorrow I think, to reattach the hamstrings onto my bone because they were halfway down my leg in a ball. It's pretty bloody painful.
And being a winger and a speedster, you need those hamstrings.
Yeah, exactly. The surgery was the only option. Like, you wouldn't be able to leave that.
How has your rehab been up until this point? Especially that must be really hard considering that your pace is one of the strengths of your game.
Yeah. I think the only thing that gave me comfort is my surgeon was like, it won't happen again when we reattach it. You can still come back stronger, faster. And it didn't happen when you were running. Like, your hamstrings were strong and I was like in good condition. It was just a freak thing where like something had to go, and it was my hamstrings, and it could have been my knee and my ACL. So actually, silver linings, that really helped me like come to terms with it and almost like, I don't know, grieve the rest of my season, I guess.
And then,
where do we start?
Contract stuff. Obviously, then again, you fast forward. That's the lie. You rewind to where always wanted to be a full-time rugby player. Worked really hard to get a contract.
Yeah.
Going to the Olympics last year, thinking the program's going to go in a great place, and then unfortunately finding out that your full-time contracts are no longer.
So
being.
We all found out our full-time contracts are ending, and it's moving to a part-time model because of financial constraints in the game and all sorts. Which I wasn't surprised. I'm probably quite bad with preparing for worst case scenarios anyway in my head. I think that's just how my brain works. So I kind of had mentally already prepared for it in the month before. I just thought that we were being teed up for that. And unfortunately that was the situation. So not only had I had a pretty major injury where it was going to take at least 5-6 months to get back, but I was now like, I'm now not going to have a job and not be full time. I don't know how that's going to look. And it was tough because I have given so much to sevens and like really prioritized it, and It's not always the most supported game, and I love it. Like, I love everything about it. I love how it suits me as a player, how exposed you are, relying on your speed. Like, it's given me so much in my life. I've travelled so much. I've travelled so much with you, like outside of the professional game.
Yeah.
I just think it's such an incredible game. So I was really, really disappointed and upset, and to be injured at the same time was pretty horrendous.
How does that affect your rehab now, not being full time with sevens, considering that's how you got injured?
So I have to be supported still, and they are going to honour that. And I am associated with the club as well, so luckily I can use that. But it does obviously make it a little bit more difficult, not quite as straightforward as it was, because when you're in a full-time environment, I say full-time, we were camp-based still, so it's not like we were in every single week. But obviously when you are in a camp, you would be seeing a physio every single day, which I don't necessarily do at the moment, so that is hard. And yeah. So
is this now a thing where a lot of girls are going to have to probably step away from sevens because obviously they can't financially survive? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think we'll see a mixture of different things. I think some people will go and concentrate on 15, some people will make it work. I'm guessing some people have to get a full-time job or a new form of employment. I think some people will, and we're seeing that from other unions as well. Like Ireland men have just can their full-time program. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens to a lot of the boys as well, because it's not easy for the boys to just go over to the Premiership. Like, it doesn't work like that. So I think, you'll see a mixture of people going to 15s, people retiring maybe, people going to full-time work, people maybe doing a mixture or going abroad. I think going abroad's an option for people. I know you've explored that. Yes. Get me out of here. It's such a shame, and I know, I can't comment on too much, but I just think it's a shame where there's so much good and positive media in women's sport, for example, and I just feel like we're taking a little bit of a step backwards in that sense, and it's really sad to see great things in some areas and then to see other people having to make all these sacrifices all over again. So it's such a shame to see you in this position, but I think it's quite cool how, and again, that's why it's so important, the life you've made for yourself outside of rugby, because you worked really hard on your own platform. Your social media following has drastically grown, but that's because you put so much time into it. During the Olympics, you worked hard to make sure you were showing people incredible sides of the Olympics that people wouldn't usually see. And think about if you hadn't put time into that and how it's kind of benefited your business and your brand, that you would probably be in a little bit of a worse position by now. I know it's so important to have for people to have things outside of rugby, and I say this all the time. I'm like, you've got to have something to fall back on, because just like that, like an Ireland men, for example, just happens at the click of a fingers, and then people are in this position, they're like, shit, your whole life changes. Yeah, I agree. And when I first started doing it, I feel like a lot of people have an opinion, because I think especially old school men's game, it's you've got to be really serious, and you can't mess around on game day, and the women's game is very different. A lot of us do a lot of behind the scenes and TikToks and things like that, because we don't earn as much as the men. So we have to look at avenues outside of just our contracts. So working with brands and doing other things outside is something that we've had to do, and it's really cool, and I love it. I think it's really amazing that we have that. And financially, you do have to think about that. So it's something that I decided to do. I guess at first people would take the mick and all sorts, and people, I don't think, necessarily take you seriously when you first start doing it. But whereas now they're like, oh, I get it. Because they now see the difference of your follow, and they're like, oh, cool. Wow. But also at the beginning, they're like, oh, Ellie's posting a lot. Ellie's doing this. And it's I know. So when I go and do a fitness session with some, big brand or something, or a talk, people are like, oh, wow, are you doing that? I want to do that. And I'm like, well, I have spent the last 4 or 5 years and really you weren't interested at that time when I was starting.
Exactly. You're like, oh, that's a lot of work, I don't want to do that.
But I think, again, the amount of opportunity you've created for yourself, because you're like, I need to make sure that I'm creating this whole, even your coaching business, you built that prior to the Olympics anyway, and then building that alongside your brand and having these opportunities to work with different people and creating some sort of financial stability, because unfortunately you can't rely on it in women's sport.
You can't. No, I think it's so important. And like you said, I always say it to other people as well, especially some of the younger girls coming through now. I'm like, please look at other things. Even if you're doing some sort of like a sports massage course on the side, or you're looking at doing a degree or something, just have something that you think you might be interested in, because you really don't know when it will be over.
I 100% agree, because like a lot of the youngers that are coming through that are already in uni are like not going to lectures or not doing work or missing deadlines, and I understand the idea of not putting uni first because of rugby, and rugby is so exciting. However, you still need to get your degree, because having that to fall back on, like an injury can happen just like that, life-changing injury where your career's over, your position now, you've been made redundant, that can just happen, and then you're left with nothing.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm really fortunate that I was kind of screwed on in that sense, where I made sure I had my career first, and then not your amazing example now, but trying to also do stuff on the side to make sure that I have different opportunities. And it's really sad that we have to think like that, because obviously in the men's game, there's barely any men that have to invest time in social media, because they're kind of gifted with their profile, which is fine because they are so many years ahead. But that's the difference, because a man doesn't have to post anything and they'll have like triple amount of followers and want all these brands spending money, but we have to invest time as women to create these things for ourselves. And I just think, it is a little bit scary with where rugby is at the moment with funding and stuff, that people's lives are just being turned upside down
overnight.
How have you found social media since you've invested more time into it? Like, what have the pros and cons been for you to be growing this following? Because obviously the pros for you are the brands and stuff, but have you had any negative?
So I've had a few things that have gone wrong with trolling and stuff like that. So like a campaign I did the other summer that went quite badly, or like just DMs from just horrible men.
Is that usually was? Is it horrible men?
Like just abusing you for just being you. Or stuff like that. Just really horrible comments. Actually, during the Olympics, I had quite a scary message that I think I had to flag, because it was effectively like, if you go to this part of Paris, like, you're in danger, kind of thing.
What?
Yeah, which is mental. Like, stuff like that is crazy. And like, there's usually no actual malice in it, but people just feel like they are entitled to say exactly what they want to you.
Yeah, they have their free reign to
and hide behind their profile, which, like, I understand. I put myself out there, so and people are like, well, you should expect a bit of backlash. And I'm like, no, I get that, but would you just walk up to someone in the street and be like, you're a fat
prick. No, but it's true though. I think that says it all. How are we normalising? Well, you should expect backlash, but why? Yeah. Why should I expect backlash?
You wouldn't say it in the street. You wouldn't go up to someone in the shop and be like, do you know what? I think you're fat, ugly, and this. Like,
no, I know.
You wouldn't do it. So why are you doing it online? Like, just because you have that space where you feel comfortable behind a keyboard doesn't make it right. So, that is the cons of it. And obviously, I'd say one thing is, like, sometimes I do get really burnt out, like creative burnout. I'm sure you've experienced that, where like I'm constantly trying to like think of ideas or like forward plan things so that I can go and enjoy a weekend away, or if I'm going on holiday, then I'll need to, because I work for myself as well with my coaching business. So like, if I don't do the work, no one's going to do it. And sometimes I do get really burnt out with that. So I just have to have protected time for myself as well.
I 100% understand that, because I did it last night with you. When I was sat on the sofa and I was like, right, sofa time. But then I knew I had loads of other things. And then it's so easy and accessible when you can do stuff on your phone. And then I'm just sat there like, and then it's 10 o'clock and I'm still working. I'm like,
and
God.
that is your work though. Because some people are like, well, that's your passion. I'm like, yes, coaching is my passion, but it's also my job. So like, I'd get home from a full day of training camp and then I'd be working on my clients till like 10 p.m. So actually I'm working 2 jobs effectively, and people don't realise that. That's really common in women's sport, where we will be balancing multiple different things on the side. And then
because we feel like we don't have a choice.
And then trying to have a relationship, friendship, social life.
Obviously a big part of what you share on social media is around your disordered eating and that kind of experience. And obviously we spoke a lot about that when you came on in that first season. So I just want to check in with you on where you are with that now, because you still heavily share how you balance that being an athlete. I think, we spoke about it in a previous episode, where it's always something that's there, and I don't think people realise that just because you seem healthier and happier and more in control, it's something you still kind of battle with.
100%. Like, I still have good and bad days with it. I do think it really helps being a full-time athlete, because I know that if I don't fuel myself, then I'm going to have a really like rubbish training session, or just like not perform on the pitch. So that definitely helps with it. So I think life after sport is going to be a whole nother navigation and chapter as well, where you're exercising for your health, but like it also becomes like, am I exercising because I'm trying to look a certain way or whatever?
I think it's hard because now, obviously, I've not experienced what you have in regards to disordered eating, but I was purpose driven before with food.
Yeah.
And like you just said, I would eat because I knew I'd have X amount of sessions, and now I don't have that purpose. It's like I kind of have lost a bit of energy or drive towards being structured around it, if that makes sense. I think it's really easy to slip on that.
100%. Like your whole identity was you as a rugby player, and it's finding that afterwards.
Yeah.
I would say actually it's been really testing being injured for my like recovery with disordered eating, because part of you is like, oh, I'm not exercising as much, so probably shouldn't eat as much today. But actually, like, your body still needs like a decent amount of food when you're recovering from surgery and an injury. Like, you should not, like, that's the worst thing you can do is limit your intake. Like, for sure, like, I haven't been smashing a takeaway every night at home after surgery, but I've been trying really hard not to be like, oh, let's be in a deficit because I'm not moving much. Because that is just so stemmed in my brain from such a young age.
But how would you challenge those thoughts then?
I think I just have to go back to reminding myself about the longer term picture of like, you are fueling yourself because you want to get back to doing what you love. And actually, if you don't fuel yourself, then you could potentially jeopardize that and make your health worse long term. So actually, what's more important, you trying to stay down a few kilos for a few weeks or whatever, or is it getting back to being a professional rugby player, doing what you love? I say professional rugby player after what's just happened, a rugby player.
To the both of us.
And yeah,
we're unemployed. Well, we're unemployed.
Unemployment. Woohoo! Yeah, like I think I go back to reminding myself, okay, this is why I'm doing it. So this is, and also just like reminding myself that food isn't just fuel, it's enjoyment. Like, you're allowed to go out for dinner and enjoy food with your friends. Like, it is an enjoyment piece. It's not solely just to fuel your body.
Yeah.
Like, there are social and enjoyment parts of food that I don't need to feel guilty for, that have taken me years to remind myself with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely been tested over the last year, but I am in a much better place than I have been in previous years. And like, for once, like, I'll dress up. We did like a bit of an end of season as a group of us, and I was like, oh, I really like how I look in that dress. Like,
you looked stunning.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm really proud of the fact that like I have muscly arms and I'm around these really strong females, and I think it helps when we're in a group together like that, because we don't all look the same, for sure. We all have different bodies, even in like an athletic group, but we're all really proud of each other for being strong women. Whereas,
and being a little bit different.
Yeah, and being a bit different. Whereas I probably feel more self-conscious when I'm in a group of people who aren't professional athletes or not rugby players, who don't have as much muscle, and then I'm a bit like, oh, are they looking at me?
It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because some people probably think the absolute opposite.
Oh, yeah,
where
100%.
like, people that aren't muscly will be feeling insecure.
Yeah.
It's funny how you feel like that.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that's slightly different.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, now you use your platform to kind of share
those
sides. Now, kind of out the other side, this positive place you're in with your sort of where you share, this is how you cope being an athlete, and you kind of share that on social media and try and connect that with your audience.
Like I said, I put up a video the other day. I put up a reel. So I was in the gym, and I quite often get asked what sport I play because of my Olympic tattoo. So I'll be lifting, people see the Olympic tattoo, and they're like, oh, I think it's so cool you're an Olympian. Like, can I ask what sport you do? And this guy was like, oh, like, I thought you were a water polo player. And I was like,
that's so random.
Yeah, so random. And I was like, oh, no, I'm a rugby player. And he was like, well, I thought you were a water polo player because like your back's really wide, like really wide. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, shit, me a few years ago would have really triggered me.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I would have gone home and been like, fucking hell, he was calling me like the Hulk. Like, he thinks I'm fucking massive.
That's a fucking compliment now. I landed. I'm like, my guess what, guys? This guy told me my back was huge, buzzing.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm like, no, he's basically saying you look really strong and athletic, and I thought you're a water polo player, and that's really cool.
That is cool.
But in a lot of girls' brains, I think that would have been like, fuck, he's saying I'm massive and I'm ugly and this and that, and your brain goes to like, worst case, he's insulting me, but he wasn't.
He was giving you a compliment. It's actually pretty cool that he had the courage to come up and tell you that.
Exactly, and I really appreciated that. And that was just like a switch in my brain where I was like, I reflected and I was like, that's really cool that I didn't actually take that offensively.
Yeah, you obviously come a long way to think how your brain's kind of... But
changed.
that takes time to get your way to think that way. And it may sound stupid, like I mentioned earlier, where some people may look at an athlete and think they've got this perfect body shape and da-da-da, when actually no, we also have a lot of insecurities as well, you know?
100%. More so in elite sport as well. Like, so many professional athletes have had some issues with their body image and disordered eating at some point. It's ridiculous. And I think it's always because we are told like your body's your CV and like you are judged upon how you look, and that's directly linked to your performance, even though it's not. Like in rugby, we all have different shapes and we all have different jobs. And just because if I'm 5 kilos less doesn't mean I'm going to be a better rugby player.
Yeah.
But we just think that quite often, which is crazy. So yeah, I really try and not focus on being a certain number and link that to my performance, because that's not true at all.
Oh, well, I'm so proud of you because you've come such a long way.
Thanks, Lee.
Obviously, now you've had some difficult news within your family. I know you've recently shared that on social media in respect to your mum. And that's something that's been really difficult for you for the last year and a half. So I don't know if you want to share how that's been and like how difficult that kind of news has been for you all.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give a bit of a background. And yeah, if you have followed me, you'll know that probably over a year and a bit ago, whilst I was trying to not qualify for the Olympics, but get selected for the Olympics, I was at home, I was still living at home then, and we had to take my mum to hospital, and basically she was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. And it was really tough, but she was going through treatment, and her sole purpose was like to watch me at the Olympics. That was her like goal, and she got there, and it was an amazing thing, and it was very emotional. She did my like shirt presentation, and like just the fact she managed to get there was just incredible, and it was an amazing experience.
Because originally she wasn't planned to go, but then her doctors planned her chemo around
it. So they were like, apparently the doctors were amazing. They still ask about me now, but they were like, we're going to get you to Paris. Like, you are going to watch your daughter play. Like, we will move the chemo around.
That's
so they did.
Special.
And then they were so amazing. They, like, moved all her treatments so she could go. She was exhausted, bless her. She slept for, like, a week after. But it was amazing.
A memory of a lifetime. That's something she's always going to remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's always going to remember that. And, like, we'll always speak about that. And then fast forward a bit more into January, I was competing in Australia at the time. And then Mom sent me a video of her ringing the bell at the hospital. And she was like, I'm in remission. And we were like, oh, my God, amazing. So treatment has worked. She's in remission. With cancer, you're not necessarily told you're cured, but if you're in remission, they haven't found any active cancer in your body. So you're kind of cured, but they can't say that. But it's still something to celebrate, right? But you kind of know it could come back at some point. So 4 days after my contract ended, I'm in rehab at London Irish, and my mum sends me a message saying, please can I call you? And I knew she was going for a CT scan because she'd been experiencing some really severe stomach aches. And I was like, just go to the doctor. Like, what we've learned from this whole process is just flag it if there's something not right. And Mum doesn't often call me in those situations, so I knew, like, my heart just dropped and I knew it probably wasn't good. And she was like, look, it's not great. Like, the cancer has come back and it's spread and it's stage 4. And I was like, right.
Shit.
And it's incurable. And I'm like, okay, right. And I felt like I just went numb, and like I was in a bit of a like fog at that point. But I was like, well, we're obviously gonna fight it. And Mum's been really, really strong, and like she's already started treatment and everything. But I was just angry that whole day because I was just like, it's so unfair. Like it's so unfair. She's been through so much. She's honestly like the fittest woman. She plays tennis like every day. Like she's looked after herself her whole life. She's never, the classic things where you're like, she's not smoked, she's not done this, she's not done that, but
Cancer doesn't care.
Cancer doesn't care.
Doesn't care, yeah.
It doesn't care. And yeah, the timing of it, 4 days after I got made redundant, I think she was worried about telling me, but I've always said to her, like, just tell me. I'd rather know and be able to deal with it face on. So yeah, that week of my life, I just
How did you respond to that then? Considering those things had happened, and I feel like it's like not just like you've had a flat tire and you've broken nail. It's like big life-changing events that are really mad at you, hitting you all at once.
Like literally in threes. I literally broke down crying, and I feel bad for the people in the gym that day because I was just like, I'm not okay.
But I think you were absolutely 100% got a justifiable reason as to why.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in fact, you were still in the gym.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I went home, and that week I was just like, I'm only going to exercise if I feel like it, and I'm just going to give myself the weekend and some time to just sit with it and be sad, and went home. Luckily, my boyfriend's amazing and he's been really supportive, and then we went to see my mum that day and we just kind of spoke through it. And
do you have that open relationship with her where you can really speak about how you feel and how she feels?
Now we do. I think that's something we've like struggled with as a family, and probably you don't want bad things like this to happen to cause that, but I think it's really forced us to be a lot more open with things and speak about things now. And that's why I said to her, I'm just glad you went to the doctor again, because if she'd left it, we'd be even worse. But yeah, we definitely are. Like, I'll ring her a lot more, and just like, if she says like, no, I'm not feeling that great today, I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. So just chill for the day and just like let yourself be sad for a bit. That's fine. And I do the same with me. Like, I think I've been reaching out to people a lot more than I probably used to. Like, I've come to see you in Wales, spent a few nights with you, like just said to people, do you know what, actually, I'm not okay. It's the first time I've just been like, I'm not fine.
I've never seen you like that though. I've never, on all the years we've been friends, only recently I've noticed the difference in you being open that you weren't okay. Yeah. So I'd always like, even if over the years, if you'd been through something that was difficult, you'd always be a bit closer around how you felt. And like, you know, you weren't that expressive around how you were feeling. Yeah. And then this time I've noticed you actually really being open, which I think as the friend, it kind of was like, okay, it was a little bit easier to then forcefully check in on you because it's like, I know that you need it. Whereas I think if you're then dealing with someone that is uncomfortable with sharing that they're struggling and stuff, it's a bit trickier to kind of know what they need. But then you were so open where I was like, I can just go full hog with you because I know you need the support. Do you know what I mean?
I think just reflecting in the past, like, I've not gained anything from protecting it from other people. Like, actually, it doesn't make you any, I said this the other day, it doesn't make you any tougher or bigger if you're dealing with it on your own. So like, why are you just insisting on dealing with it on your own when other people can actually probably make you feel better and help you? And I think something that's really helped me as well is a lot of people have reached out who have had lived similar experiences with their mum or similar situations, and then it then brings you a lot of comfort because you're like, okay, they've been through it, so they can help.
Someone sharing with you, well, this is how I felt, or I understand how you feel, you've said this. I think that is really comforting. Yeah. How would you feel with dealing with it, even though you're not the one going through it with the conditions? Like, I think this is a big one that, you know, we've spoken about in previous episodes, where it's like how to support actually the person that's not going through it but is directly affected. So I suppose, your mum's the one that's suffering, which obviously you need to make sure that she's okay, but also the family around her, and it's still your mum at the end of the day, which is still going to seriously affect you too.
Mm-hmm. I think just being reminded that if it's fine if you're not okay, if you're the person around it as well, because I agree, when she first got diagnosed and I was going away on tours, I'd get so guilty, like so guilty. I was like, like I'm going away, I'm not supporting her, but it's not me going through it, so why am I feeling guilty? Like, all these things were going on in my head. And actually, from speaking to other people, like, it does affect you, it is your life. And it's fine if you're upset by it. It doesn't, just because you're not necessarily the person going through it, if you are that near support person, it does affect your life. Yeah. And it is as hard, and there's nothing you can do to make it better in terms of like, I can't be the one that gives her the drug that makes her feel better or anything like that. Yeah. So that's why I find it harder, because there's nothing I can directly do to make her better. I just have to be there to support her when I can. And I have no control over the situation as well. So yeah, it's been hard. It's something that now I've come to terms with. Actually, it's fine if I'm not okay. Yeah. And other people understand that as well. Just hearing that from other people really helps. So I think, I think
you've got a lovely circle around you now of people that you know that will be there for you no matter what. And obviously that know your family well and have kind of been around during the kind of both experiences of your mum going through it. Yeah. How does your dad cope with this? Because obviously, like, for a male that in an older generation may not feel as comfortable being so open, but I suppose the partner of the sufferer, and then have to like do a lot more, and then maybe hide their feelings a bit more. Is that more like how your dad's coping?
Bless him. He's been absolutely amazing, by the way. I would shout out my dad.
Keithy B.
He has been unreal, like her biggest support. But I think from going through this process and speaking to other people who've been through this process, you don't realise how much the partner like takes on effectively a new job.
Yeah.
Like it is. So mum's she's just started immunotherapy. She's going to have to go to hospital every 3 weeks for the next 3 years of her life. And during chemo last year, they were in for like 5 days and sometimes like 8 hours in the hospital a day. Like it is.
And would your dad be with her the entire time?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It is like taking on another job and a responsibility, and you feel like you have to be the strong person the whole time, and you can't show emotion. So I think it's important as well. And what I am going to make a conscious effort of as well is checking in with my dad and checking in with the partner as much as checking in with the person with cancer.
Yeah.
She won't mind me saying it. I hope not. But
we'll cut it out if she doesn't.
Vicky Fleetwood is currently going through brain cancer with her partner.
So sad.
And Vicky is like the strongest woman ever, but I've also said to her, like, it's fine if you're not okay. Like if you want me to come and sit with you and us not be okay together and just sit in silence or have a cry, or that's fine, because you need to look after yourself too in order to support Tom.
Yeah.
And like I think she's realising that as well.
Is that, I just don't use the word easier, but is it helpful in some respect or comforting for you both, even though the cancer is different?
Yeah.
The concept is still the same, where you're still experiencing, a similar traumatic event.
Yeah.
Does that help? Because you can kind of relate each other with what you're going through, and then you've got each other. You both understand in some respect.
Yeah. Do you know what? We have been messaging a lot, and it has been helpful actually having someone going through a similar experience at the same time, albeit a very different cancer, and my heart goes out for her because they've only been married for a year and it's a really heartbreaking situation. But she understands how I feel quite often. And when she messages me, I'm like, yeah, you get it. Like you are actually living this at the moment. So like I really value her opinions on things, and she'll let me know like what they're researching and what they're trying and stuff like that. Yeah, which is nice, because then we can kind of help each other in that situation. So yeah, that has definitely helped. And like I said, like certain people who I've not necessarily spoken to in years, but I've reached out and said like, hey Ellie, actually my mum's been through that. Like I understand how it feels. So if you do want to pick up the phone and ring me, then I would love to talk to you. And actually that's been so nice that people feel comfortable to message me and do that as well. And that's only come from being open about it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I have been open, because I feel like some people are probably like, well, why are you sharing that private information on social media? And I get it. Like there is a part of respecting my mum's privacy because it's not my story, but also a lot of good has come out of sharing it because people with lived experience can then speak to us.
I think, and that's a big driver on this podcast. It's like we're sharing vulnerable and tough things that you're talking about. We're doing it for a reason, because someone could see your reel of you sharing information with your mum that's going through it, that's never seen anyone go through it, or doesn't understand how they can survive through it, or I don't know what it is, but you get comfort in something when you're speaking to someone that actually gets it, because it's that isolating feeling where like I feel alone. Yeah. I feel guilty because I'm not the one going through it, for example. And a big thing that we've spoken about previously is around support, not just for the person going through it, but the person that's also, like I mentioned just now, that's also been affected by someone that's ill, that's their partner, their loved one, their pet, their family, because it is really, really difficult. The thought of, seeing your mum so unwell and not knowing what the future looks like, it's really tough. So I do think it is, I say lovely, but it's nice that you are being so open on social media, because you've got the confidence to do so, where someone that may not have as big of a profile or a following, or may feel a bit lost with similar experience, will see that and, like you said, reach out to you. Yeah. But also you're still going through it. So someone then, you also connecting with that person, I don't think that person will realise how helpful that is for you too.
Yeah, it's like therapy both ways. Yeah, 100%.
So where your mum's just started treatment?
Yeah, she's week 1 of immunotherapy. She started last week. Which is a whole nother journey in itself, because with cancer there's so many different kinds of treatments, and with that there's so many different side effects and different experiences from person to person. So someone might experience really bad headaches, the next person might be really fatigued, like you just don't know. You don't know what you're getting, so you're kind of going into it a bit blind. So this is a whole new journey as well. We don't know whether it's going to work. I think that these next few months will be really telling as to whether she'll respond well, because when it's incurable you also have no idea what the future looks like. So we don't know if we had a few years, or she could live for another 10 years. Like, that's why I think I'm finding hardest.
The unknown. But
like, at the moment, I think we're just channeling into that of making the most of everything. So
you recently went to the tennis.
Yeah, I went to the tennis together. We went to Queen's the other week. My mum loves tennis and she had the best time. And at the end of the day, she turned around and she was like, I needed this. Like, I've had such a rubbish week with treatment. Like, thank you so much. I've really needed this. And I thought, yeah, do you know what? Let's just like plan things in when you're feeling good, or when you're like, you want to be distracted. Let's just go and do things and make memories. And I hate how it's probably taken this to do that. But I think it's important to make the most of every day and what you've got left with them, because we have no idea what that looks like at the moment.
Have you got any plans for the summer? Have you got anything planned? Something else planned?
I think we're gonna try and make the most of some like weekends away. We've got like a recovery day booked in London, which will be nice. Like in like some sauna and everything. But I think we haven't booked too much yet because we just don't know.
And you can't plan ahead how she feels.
Exactly. We don't know how she's going to feel. So I think we're just going to have to be prepared to do things last minute. So like, if we fancy going to Spain for the weekend, let's do it. Let's go and do it.
Even to the point of like, even if she's not up to it, but she wants company, do something in the garden. Or like exactly. There's so many things you can do that require low energy that could really help her in that time. If she's like, oh, I really want company today, but I've really struggled with treatment, you could be like, great, we'll sit in the garden in the shade and we'll paint. So I just thought it was the first thing came to my head.
But that's what I think I would say to other people as well. If you're worried about being awkward or not knowing how to help, sometimes it is literally just going around for a cup of tea and speaking about something else, or taking them. We went pottery painting yesterday, and like just stuff like that. That's whelpsome, where you don't necessarily have to speak about it, but you're just helping.
But we didn't speak at all, Ellie. We were so into the painting, we didn't talk at all. We looked up at each other after an hour and a half, and we were like, we haven't actually spoken to each other the entire time. We were so invested in this paint.
But that was therapy in itself.
It was super wholesome.
Doing stuff like that, 100%.
I said to Ellie when she said she was coming down, I was like, right, I'll plan a wholesome day, won't require alcohol, it'll just be something wholesome and different. And we realised we were out all day and we were like, fucking knackered. But then I think it is really nice to have something to take your mind off it and doing things that I said are wholesome and good for the soul.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be my advice.
What is next on your plans now over the next few weeks? Obviously, your mum's a priority and looking after her, making time with her, but what about you as an individual?
So I feel like I can say it on here now, but things happen. So obviously, a lot of bad things have happened, but then in nature of elite sport is like you're sometimes just waiting for a phone call for the next thing. So I have re-signed with Ealing, and they've being able to offer me something that means I'll be full-time and I'll be able to do some S&C coaching in person as well. So it means I can focus on training in the day and being a full-time athlete still, and I'm going to focus all my efforts on playing in the women's premiership this year in 15s, which is scary for me because I've not played 15s in that much depth in quite a few years. But I'm excited. I'm trying to be excited about it and like calling it like a plot twist chapter and the next thing. So focus is really to get back rehabbing, get my hamstring right, hopefully playing some cup in the August and adapt to a new life being at home more, because for the last like 4 years I've probably been away like every month.
Yeah, it's crazy
around the world.
Like stability and some structure. Like
I'm looking forward to having some structure, being at home with my boyfriend more and Willow, and like having a Monday till Friday that I can actually plan.
I think you mentioned it a few weeks ago. It's actually as well being home more and being closer to your mum, so your mum can actually come watch you play, rather than like being away every weekend in different countries and your mum can't come watch.
Exactly.
Like, she can look forward to and come and watch you play, and you can be closer to home, so if anything happens or you need to see your mum, or even just going for a cup of tea, you're closer to her to be able to do that.
That's the thing. I think it's going to be a real motivation, because she'll be like, right, I'm going to watch Ellie play this weekend, so I need to get myself right so I can go and watch. And she's already said that. So I think it's cool that we'll have that, where she might not be going to like Hong Kong or wherever anymore, but she can come and watch me at Ealing. I also forgot, I'm also going to be an auntie in like 3 weeks.
That's a big thing to mention.
Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry, Stephen, you're a priority right now.
My brother's having a baby as well, and
that'll be so nice. That'll be so nice. I think like grandparents love to be grandparents. It'll be the first baby. I think that brings so much joy to your family. And I think definitely what your parents, not just your mum, your parents will need to kind of like, just bring some,
bring some joy.
Yeah,
I know. And that's been a motivation as well, because I was meant to be in Japan playing sevens this summer, and I was really upset that wasn't going to happen because my injury. And then in hindsight, I got made redundant. It would have been really good to have gone. But actually, I was going to miss the birth of my nephew.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be here to help, and I'm going to watch him grow up. And
Silver linings, isn't it?
There is, and mum, obviously the diagnosis happened after mum got, after my injury happened of mum. So now I'm going to be around more for mum. So actually, there are silver linings and everything.
It's so weird how that works,
weird.
isn't it?
It's
so weird.
Shit up there.
I know, and I am a big believer in that. I think not things happen for a reason. I do think that, but at the same time, I think other things work out because of other things that happen. 100%. So yeah, I am. I do. Yeah, I agree. And I think how your mindset would be if your life hadn't changed, and then how the pressure you'd be putting on yourself. You weren't here and you weren't around more. I think that would be harder for you to deal with.
Really hard. I think it would have been hard traveling and going through that.
Well, I'm here for you no matter what.
Thank you.
Always going to be here for you for the ups and the downs. I'm very proud of you how you're coping with it. And like I said, even I'm proud of you for being so open about you not being okay, because that's the biggest thing, I think. And it shows growth in you over the years, how now you are being more open. I think that is a strength that you've developed quite a lot. And that's why I'm very proud of you for that.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
Lovely checking with you. Thank you very much for coming back. We'll get her back at
the end
of the season. We didn't cry.
What? Wow.
I know. And I'm an emotional mess. So
wow.
I think because we made sure that we said that this episode with the check-ins are going to be shorter. So if we did dive deeper, we probably would cry. So the next check-in will probably be emotional. But thank you so much. You know how much I love you.
I love you too.
And as much as this has been really low part for you, it is on the way up. And I think that it's
part of the journey.
It is part of the journey. It's part of the plot twist.
Yeah.
And you have got some exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
And I think you have got a lot of control around the bad stuff. So, watch this space. And obviously, we wish your mum all the best. And we're literally going to be here just supporting her no matter what as well. So, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
And remember, keep saying it how it is.